A lot of you are always asking me to cover more safe levels in the backrooms. Some people think I do too many dangerous ones, but actually, yeah, you're probably right. But in this video today, I will be explaining level 7.8 of the backrooms, also known as the Impaled Ocean. This is a chill place with minimal dangers, and it's just infinite liminality in all directions. If that sounds cool, leave a like so the algorithm doesn't kill me, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video, and let's explain level 7.8, shall we? The levels page begins with a captain's journal, which I'm going to go ahead and read through just so you get the vibe that the level's trying to send. Captain's journal. Friday, August 21st. Weather fine and clear. Wind east-southeast. Steady breeze, sea smooth. Midnight, less wind and passing showers. At 1 a.m., light squalls with rain, ending with a steady breeze and fine clear weather. I went out to sea one day with every member of my crew. We hadn't earned enough money from fishing, and the season was coming to an end. The fog grew thicker, and the boat in the sea was as still as the night sky. The visibility continued to deteriorate. There was no hint that such a situation would arise when I checked the weather forecast. The stunning view of the Bermuda Isles was swiftly lost. Still, we had to continue sailing in hopes of catching something by the end of the day. At one point, something strange caught my attention. The fog cleared, but there was nothing in the area. The ocean stretched out in every direction, and that was all we could see. We were alone. We shouldn't have gone that far. We simply weren't able to call for help. I made the regrettable decision that we would somehow turn back, since we were sailing straight, and we decided to do a complete 180 turn in hopes of getting back that way. One of the sailors noticed that every compass was shattered, inexplicably. They couldn't pinpoint north accurately since their needles were spinning in circles. A part of us believed that this was the end, and we lost all faith. We had probably been reported missing by family members. We drifted toward the inevitable madness on the boundless sea. The water was unfit for human consumption, and rations were becoming limited. We struggled to sleep, and the time of day remained constant. One of the sailors called the whole crew at one point after spotting a large white cloud resembling a waterspout rising from the dreary fog. The ship continued to move ahead despite our attempts to halt it. We had no idea what it was. We began to feel a powerful wind dragging us toward the cloud, and suddenly everything went white, and all I could see was that I was falling to the ground. It felt like I was dying. I felt terrible because I was unable to apologize to anyone I had previously harmed. The fog eventually changed color, and I once again saw my ship floating there with my crew. We were safe. The sea looked beautiful, and I could see how strange everything was. The houses on stilts all around us. I still question whether this impaled ocean was all just a dream. So that was the captain's journal, his journey from the Bermuda Triangle in real life to this sublevel in the backrooms. So somewhere in the never-ending vastness of level 7 lies this place, level 7.8. It's known by a ton of different names, the Impaled Ocean, the Sea of a Million Houses, things like that, but we know it as level 7.8. The sublevel is a vast expanse of locations and objects and creatures and other phenomenon as well, and it's made up of this. It is an extensive body of salt water dotted with the structures that the area is known for. Houses on stilts. The water in the area is extremely still and has almost no waves at all. It's just table flat. Below the flat water is the teeming life that you would expect from the ocean floor. There's rocks, there's corals, there's algae, there's various metals, and there's fish and that sort of thing. The sea at the base level is about 20 meters deep, and most of the floor is flat or slightly hilly. Dotted along the seafloor is specific spots that go down very far that appear to be cavernous holes. These giant holes go downwards for thousands of meters into the ground, and they're home to all strange fish and sea creatures. These are largely unexplored, and they all have their own secrets. The way you can travel around this level with these houses on stilts is by using a boat or by swimming, although there does seem to be an excess number of boats that have been abandoned that are kind of just floating around the perimeter here, so you could just take one. But the main attraction of this level isn't the water, it is those houses that are in the water. The houses themselves are all different sizes, and they suspend above the water on wooden stilts. They can be made from metal or wood or concretes or really any material, and most of the houses are kind of inside their own villages. Villages in this level typically consist of about 10 different home structures that are clustered together. These homes can all be explored, lived in, and you can stay there if you want to. There are 3 specific locations in inside of this sublevel that you need to be aware of while you're exploring it. The stilt villages, deep eyes, and the grand colony. Now, the stilt villages are dispersed around the area like I just explained. They're random pods of these stilt houses put together. They provide shelter and housing for many people who come here and many people that decide to stay. They're sort of like a safe haven. Some stilt houses even have supplies like rations and water and food, and if you get lucky, there can be an abundance of this. The clusters of houses are usually connected by small bridges and sets of ladders, and they're always typically put near the giant holes underneath the water. And this is because a lot of fish swim around those holes, and the people here usually fish for their food. The deep eyes themselves are the secondary location that you need to be aware of, and these are just those massive dark holes deep into the unknown. They're home to various fish and coral species, and they're a very common food source for wanderers that live in the stilt houses. The Grand Colony is the nickname of the so-called hub of the level, and it's essentially just this massive village of stilt houses. This is where the majority of people live and trade and go to the market here, and you can come here and trade your belongings for other things. It's like the capital of the level. As far as life inside of the sea and in the sublevel in general, there are several different types. Seagulls exist, and these are pretty much exactly like seagulls from real life, which means they're annoying and they try to steal your food. And there's also fish and there's corals, but the main unique entity that you're gonna have to look out for are known as sea walkers. Now, sea walkers are very distinct creatures. They are tall, four-legged giants that constantly and slowly roam around the endless sea. They typically can be anywhere from 40 to 70 meters tall, and they have a kind of crab-like appearance. Oftentimes they can be seen stretching out of the water on the horizon line. But the main unique thing about these creatures is that they use the stilt houses as the shell of their bodies. So you know how typical crabs are going to get like a crab shell, right? These things use the houses as their shell, and the houses essentially cover up the weak parts of the sea walker's body. The way they get a house is by slowly lumbering over through the water to one of the villages and kind of reaching inside of the house and putting it on top of its own head. They reside only in the deeper parts of the sublevel, and they're really not dangerous other than the fact that they might steal your house right from under you with you in it. Sea walkers also reproduce asexually, which means they don't really require mating, and each individual can lay eggs that would subsequently hatch into new ones. Right after these eggs hatch, the sea walkers are fully self-sufficient and they can just walk around the ocean by themselves. For communities that live here, there are actually several, and this is because, as I've said throughout the entire video, this is a safe level. It's very easy to get to, it's very safe, there's no real environmental factors other than maybe your house getting taken by a giant crab, and you only have to get through 7 different backrooms levels, the first 7, to get here. Instances of the first ever communities that have been here date back to the 1700s, and an outpost known as the Kellogg Institute takes up a stilt village in the middle. They created a hospital there, and they actually have several people that work full-time to divvy out resources and that kind of thing. There's also another group of people called the Deep Fallow Corsairs, and these are essentially pirates that live on boats out in the water, and they steal stuff, which is kind of lame, right? Like, who's out here stealing stuff in the backrooms, bro? But if you want to enter this level and finally go to a relaxing sub-level, the only way you can do so is by getting to level 7, getting inside a boat, and then driving into a continuous direction until you appear here, just like the beginning story did. If you want to exit the level to get back to land, you can do so by jumping down into a deep eye hole, and you'll enter level 8, which is the cave level, and it's not necessarily a great place to be. But this level is one of those like dream core liminal space places. It's simple, it's effective, there's no scary monsters, it's just a chill, endless ocean of stilt houses where you could just vibe forever. If you would stay on this level, leave a like, let me know in the comments. All right, thank you for watching the video. Hope you did enjoy. Thank you so much for all the support you've given the channel. I know these safe levels typically don't do the best in the algorithm, but I still enjoy making them because not every level's gotta be dangerous. We already know this. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next video, wherever that may be.